what's happening is, I don't know if her PR team is doing this or whatnot, but they're trying to gaslight the public.
Hi and welcome to Close Talk. I'm Kjersti Flaa, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood with celebrities and working as an entertainment reporter. Yesterday I had an amazing guest, Donna Bowling. If you didn't watch that episode, please do. She shared so much interesting information about what's going on and her meetings with Justin Baldoni and her experience with Blake Lively's family, and how she believes that Ryan Reynolds now might be the one behind all of this. I saw there was an article in the Daily Mail today actually suggesting that Ryan Reynolds has a lot more to do with this than actually we thought. And now he is really struggling to try and save his own reputation. And they're suggesting that he's the one behind the gag order that was placed on Justin Baldoni's lawyer because he doesn't want any more stuff to come out. I think that gag order was placed because Justin Baldoni's lawyer said that he is going to launch a website where he's going to post all the correspondence between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And I think that's going to put even more pressure on them to come out and defend themselves. And the way things look now is not so great. And that's why I think it's super interesting to talk to this guy that is my guest today. Ulyses is a crisis management expert, and he can tell you all the biggest mistakes that Blake Lively made so far and how she could save her ass if it's not too late. Ulyses, thank you so much for joining me here on Flawsome Talk. I know you have so much insight of what we're going to talk about because you are a crisis management expert, and you have a very interesting take on what's gone wrong and basically what's gone wrong, because I think most things have gone wrong for Blake Lively in this incident. So what do you say?
No, I agree. I think, kind of like I was talking to you earlier, if she would have played the deck a little bit more correctly, I do think it would have blown over. But she just continued to make mistakes that I think I'm really not too sure why her current PR team is letting her go down this path, but they're kind of fighting to the end, and I don't think that's the best route to take right now.
So you were saying, watched on your channel, you were saying there were like 3 major mistakes that they made. Could you just quickly go through what you think, like where was the first mistake she did?
The first mistake was not owning up to what people could see. So, when the interviews were coming out, right? Even when you published your interview, did she ever reach out to you and apologize?
No.
I mean, she has taken no accountability in anything, right? In any of her interviews, and that's mistake number one. Is like we can all see it with our eyes that she was being quite rude, and it wasn't the first interview where she's done that. So if she could see that and she owned up to it, I'm pretty sure the audience would be more susceptible to hearing her out or letting it kind of die down. But that was mistake number one. Mistake number two is now thinking it's Justin's fault that she's getting the backlash, which for some reason I did see what she put out initially and what what the New York Times put out, but that's mistake number two, because that really poured gasoline on the fire. Because you have to think, what do the public already believe about Blake and Justin? They already believe that Justin is a really nice guy, and they believe that Blake is a mean person. So now what they're seeing is that Blake is trying to throw Justin under the rug, destroy his career. And then mistake number three is getting the lawyers involved. The Streisand effect is basically if you try to hide something or cover it up, it just gets kind of put into the light and it gets more exposure. And, that's what happened. And that's why, we're here now.
So do you think, is there anything she could do at this point now that can kind of save her, you think? Or is it like, okay, now it's gone too far?
I think last week, I think she could have been a little bit more saved. I think now what's happening is, I don't know if her PR team is doing this or whatnot, but they're trying to gaslight the public into, with the recent footage that came out with Justin and Blake and what she mentioned happened in the lawsuit. From many people's perspectives, it didn't look like that happened in the video footage. So if she continues down the route of gaslighting, of saying this is classic abuser, a classic abuser move, and they continue denying any wrongdoing, because two things can be true, right? And I'm not advocating for either of them, but two things can be true. Number one, Justin could have, sexually harassed Blake. Maybe not in that video footage, but it could have happened, and she could have been, any instance with him could have brought back maybe feelings. That's number one. And number two is she can be a mean girl, and she has had rude interviews, and she's just not so nice of a person. Both of those things can be true. And if she's denying any wrongdoing for anything, then it's very hard for the public to side with her. So if she continues down that route, I don't think people will side with her. I do think if she takes accountability for the things that she did do and things that we can see, then I think she'll open up more hearts.
So, what do you think about this recent gag order?
Yeah.
That I mean, to me, it seems like okay, they're getting really worried here that more things are going to come out and it's going to get worse for her. Do you think that was a smart move?
I don't think so. It goes back to the Streisand effect. It's like they're trying to cover it up. They're trying to, make it more hush. But what happens is people are going to fight for Justin. So if it does end up happening and, Brian Friedman is not able to like speak his mind and talk about things, it's only going to double down on the audience to fight for Justin because it's now he's being silenced. So I don't think that's the best route to take, you know. It's similar
So,
to it's similar to like what happened with, Trump, right? It's like he's being censored, he's being silenced, and because of that happening, like a lot of loyalists are like fighting his cause, fighting for it. Now they feel like you're attacking me, if you're silencing somebody else. So that's essentially kind of what's happening here.
what was I going to say? Now I lost my thought. It's so interesting, all of this. So, hold on. I'm going to look at my notes. It's a little early for me.
All good.
Sorry. Um, yeah. So, I think people got a little shocked when all of this happened, and the PR management teams and crisis management teams got involved. And I was just wondering, because I think people are shocked that it worked, how it works, and that it's kind of a little dirty. How would you
Yeah,
describe
so dirty.
yeah, is it?
It sure looks like it, and I think it was pretty revealing, like when, I forgot the guy's name, but the main guy at TMZ, when he was saying that everybody does it, it's really dirty. I don't work necessarily specifically in celebrity drama or, things like that. I work more in entrepreneurship space. And I'm glad to say it's not that dirty, it's not that cutthroat. A lot of things that happen, like people are not necessarily trying to like bring each other's career down, right? It's so yeah, I do think from what we're seeing, it's really dirty. And it just kind of reminds me of politics a little bit because politics can get really dirty. It's just a nasty place to be in. And I don't think that's the right route to go.
So do you think that there was a smear campaign?
I think so I think the smear campaign was organic. So I don't think they initiated it. But I do think it's clear that they wanted to or that they had things just in case. Because there's no, refuting some of the stuff that she put out, which she did put out things, or at least she didn't, but the New York Times did put out things that were doctored. So they were, miss there were things that were like not included in totality, right? So it was very biased. So do I think that they could have done something? And do I think that they had things in place just in case? I do think that. But do I think they actually did it? No, because it was very organic, right? And anybody on the other side of the screen, here's another issue, is like Blake Lively's team is trying to make everybody feel stupid, that like it wasn't organic and that somehow we were all manipulated into seeing Blake Lively's interviews, even though they were her actions, and thinking, yeah, you know what? It was Justin Baldoni's fault. It's Justin Baldoni's fault that she reacted this way, that she answered this answer, this way, that she was promoting her, her companies during the movie promotion. It was Justin Baldoni's fault. He told her to do that. It's just insane. Like, they were still her actions. Even if he did do a smear campaign, he did not do any of those actions. She did those all of herself. So, and that's what the public was reacting to.
So do you think now, if they called you today and were like, okay, we want to hire you as our crisis manager, what would you do to try and save first Ryan Reynolds' reputation? Do you think that he can save his reputation now? What do you think he should do or should
Well,
be
what's
doing?
happening is now they're turning on him too, especially with what Candace Owens posted. Did you see what she posted recently on
Yeah,
Instagram?
yeah, no, I heard about it, that he's like the mastermind of the, yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
he's now the entire mastermind, and you know how much people love conspiracy theories and things like that. So the and negativity is like a virus, right? People get it and it spreads like wildfire. But if they hired me, like I don't think they would like the answers that I would give them. Because in some cases they are wrong. Like they are wrong and they just have to own up to it. There's nothing that I can do or that her team can do to make up for the things that she did incorrectly. Like that's nobody can fight that fight for her. She has to do that herself. She has to come out and publicly apologize. Um, she should not only just like publicly apologize. When that video came out that you posted, she should have emailed you. She should have called you. She should have gotten in contact with you because not doing anything about it just makes it worse, right?
mm,
So yeah, that's and then do I think it can be saved? I do think it can be saved. I don't think like we're too far off the edge. I think we're getting there, but we're all human. We all make mistakes. And like, are people going to hate her for a bit? Yes. But like, as long as you show that, you're genuinely, sorry for the actions or whatever. And by the way, this can be completely different from the sexual harassment claims, right?
yeah.
Again, two things can still coexist. Um, but I think what people are saying is like, Blake is mean. She's rude. She's, egotistical, whatever it is. And because of that, she can't see her downfalls. So she's blaming Justin and she's trying to bring Justin down to make herself like, save her career. And that's not the way you save your career. You don't bring someone else's career down to save yours. So
Good points. So would you, I mean, when I read the article in the New York Times, my first thought was like, why don't she come out and do an interview herself instead? Because then I think more people would really relate to it, and she could be vulnerable and show, her personality through a very open interview. Do you agree with that? That would be a better way to do that?
I think initially, yes. I think now that like so much information has come out, I think it could be damaging for Blake.
Hmm.
Because now I mean journalists are going to ask hard questions. They're going to ask, did you try to take over the movie? Like, did all the stuff that has now come out, right? With the wardrobe, her trying to look at the dailies, like all that stuff. They're going to ask the hard questions. What she can do is prepare for these hard questions. But again, we want to see the truth. We want to see her genuine responses. So I'm not too sure if that would be the best route to go now. Um, but it could be.
What do you think? I feel like in the beginning, people were coming out to support her. Not a lot
Yeah.
of people, but some people were. Now people have to like close their comment sections on Instagram, and the author Colin Hoover deleted her Instagram. Do you have the feeling people are starting to panic and don't want to support them anymore?
I do think it's getting there. But I think the issue that everybody made initially, which is not really bad in nature, it's like people want to believe people that have been sexually harassed,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to automatically think that just never happened, right? So they came out in support of her, but what happened is like they didn't wait, all the way, and we still don't know like all the facts that happened. So it is always better to wait. And things like this could be handled privately, but Blake and Ryan have a lot of power. So when something like this happens, you want to get on their good side because at the moment it looked like, if there was ever going to be a second movie, like it's not going to be because of Justin, right? It's gonna like his career's tanking. So I think now, yeah, they're starting to, I don't know if they regret it, because it's never bad to like support somebody that claims, sexual harassment. It's not bad to do so. But I do think they just didn't wait to take sides, and they should have waited for all the information to come out before automatically thinking someone's bad. And I'm not too sure if they truly like believe Blake and want to be with Blake, or if they're just scared for their own careers because of
Mm.
how Blake Ryan and Taylor. Just adding her in, but how big they are.
Totally. So when something like this happened, I saw Jenny Slate, is that her
Yeah.
name? Yeah. They were coming for her too. So what should someone like her do in this situation, you think, when people are coming at you at social media and harassing you, and what should she do? If she hired you today, what would you do to help
Yeah.
her?
I'd say first, first things first, you can't throw stones if you live in a glass house. And there's already been, again, what do people already believe about Jenny Slate? Well, number one, they believe that she's an abuser towards Chris Evans. Because, the slap, like she mentioned it, on, I don't know if it was a podcast or video footage, but that she just likes to hit Chris Evans. Right. And there's like, a lot of things that way. So it's like, it's very difficult again to side with somebody that is like okay with abuse in some sort of sense. And again, this is all my opinion. Just want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. But if she hired me, the first thing, like she kind of already took a side. So what needs to happen here is either she needs to know all the facts, and if she knows all the facts, at least from both ends, talk to them both. Like both of them, right? You run a movie with both of them, get both sides, and then make a determination. But what I would do right now is like not take any sides and just kind of wait. I wouldn't even put out a statement because you already did, you know,
Yeah.
and you don't want to backtrack and then at the end find out that Blake was right, So it's like she's put it in a close to impossible situation right now.
It's so interesting how more and more people are getting dragged into this and everyone's pointing fingers at each other. And I mean, have you seen anything like this play out this way before?
Mm, I think it's a little bit different because initially I always go back to like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard
Yeah.
situation. And like the media had a field day with like their, legal battle and, things like that. And a lot of people sided with Johnny Depp because of the information coming out. I don't want to see this happen with Justin and Blake Lively. Like I don't think that's the right route to go. I think they're gonna take it though all the way. That's what it sounds like
You
from,
think they're going to go
Blake's.
to court?
I do think so.
Oh.
Because I think Blake Lively is not gonna back down. Like I think she's too caught up already in it. I hope they settle. I hope they figure it out. I hope they get in contact with each other and figure it out. But it's very hard because she accused him of some very serious allegations. Like he got dropped by quite a bit of people. I think he even said himself, like or I don't know, a representative said that he lost 3 jobs and is now, for sure losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Like those are not. This is not an allegation that you can simply just like wash away. This stays with you forever. So I don't know. She kind of went all the way. So I think that's where they're going to go.
I feel like, that if they had a crisis manager like you or like a good PR company, they would suggest things that you are suggesting. That's what I've been thinking. And then probably
I
they
hope.
just said no. I mean, could
Yeah.
someone be like, why would anyone, suggest to go that route? To me, that was like, wow, either they didn't listen to advice or they just, are completely clueless with the people they surround themselves with. What do
I
you
think
think?
I think it might be an ego thing.
Hmm.
I truly think so because like the it could be that they have given them this advice. I'm not too sure about it. I'm not too sure because I think when you're at that level, in a way, you kind of sense that you're God, and we kind of saw that with like Blake Lively texting Justin Baldoni about her being Khaleesi and having her 3 dragons. Like she feels almost untouchable. And I don't think that she thought that this was going to backfire in any type of way. So for her, she's like, yeah, let me throw my dragons to you, like my PR team, my legal team, like I have this power. Like you can't do anything to me, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's an ego thing. So I'm not too sure if they did tell her this advice. I'm hoping they did because cooler heads always prevail. Um, but could she have said no? Yes, yeah. It's very it's a possible, very possible.
Yeah. Do you think, because a lot of people have come out and said, oh, women should always support women and it's much easier to hate on women. Do you feel that it's harder for a woman when she's put in a situation like this with a lot of negative attention to her that it's harder for her to come out of a crisis than it is for a man to save his skin?
That's a good question. I do think women should always believe women. And I also think that it shouldn't be like blind faith though. And I think what's happening here is the reason why I'd say probably more women don't believe Blake Lively is because she is not owning up to anything. So it's hard to like believe someone who like doesn't even believe they did any wrongdoing in the first place. So I I uh I 100% think that they should back women, but that also means holding them to, holding them accountable for like things that they did. Because again, both can coexist, right? Like she could have been sexually harassed, but she's also being, a jerk about many other things. And she also did promote things that she should not have promoted and did not talk about domestic violence. She wasn't fighting the fight for domestic violence, for people that have suffered from domestic violence. Justin was in those interviews. In fact, like it's been clear and it's been shown that like Colleen Hoover chose Justin Baldoni because that's what he was going to fight for. So they also want to champion somebody that is championing them and their story, and she hasn't been doing that. In an interview, she even said like when a guy said like hey, if somebody comes to you, right, and like they want to share their story, and she's like, yeah, like what, you want my location,
I
like
know.
all that
Oh
stuff.
my
It's
God,
like,
that interview went everywhere. Yeah,
yeah, and then it turns out she didn't even read the book.
I
So
know.
women should believe women, but like she's not championing for them, so it's very hard to champion her right now.
It really is. I feel like I always want to give the benefit of the doubt to women coming forward because it's so important that we do. But I also want to give the benefit of the doubt to men. We shouldn't always, not believe a man because he is a man. And I've
Yeah.
talked about that a lot on my channel because I feel like it's, humans are humans. There are bad ones, there are good ones, there are liars, there are ones that tell the
Yep.
truth. And I don't think that should be like a sex thing that, anyways. Is there anything else that you're thinking that is important in this case?
Um, no, I think we got like the majority of it, and you ask really good questions. Like, it kind of baffles me that like somebody would respond that way to you, in the interview. Especially when you're being nice. Like I mean, who, like when you ask about like the baby bump, like why would you get upset? Like,
I
are you not
know.
happy that you're a mom and that you are showing a baby bump? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. We have a daughter, and like if anybody asks, like even when my fiance was pregnant, like it's a great thing to talk about. Like I love talking about my kid. So I don't know, maybe she was just having an off day, but it seems like she has a lot of those off days during interviews.
I know. And I feel like I saw some pattern there, like the way she was with me. She was just like trying to be funny because she was like, oh, just kidding
Ah,
afterwards. And I've seen that's kind of a little passive aggressiveness that she has and to try and joke about it, but then it comes off as rude. So
yeah.
I don't know, maybe they have a very special sense of humor, her and Ryan.
See, and that's another thing actually, because that could be true, right? It could be like that she just jokes around and stuff like that, which we've seen in interviews, but it is awkward. It is like people don't get it right away. People don't get her humor right away. You have to like really know her to understand it. So when she tries to do it, it doesn't come off the way that she wants it to be. It comes off completely different, right? And perspective is everything. So um yeah, it could be true that she's just joking around and stuff. But in some of those interviews, she wasn't joking around. She was
No, no. And with me, what happened after that, with them just ignoring me completely, I
I know.
find it so fascinating that people would do that when they know they're being filmed. You know,
Even yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
that's when I think, okay, that shows a lot about you. That tells a lot about you as a person when you think it's okay to sit like that. And you're being filmed, you're on camera,
Right.
and people can watch you afterwards. And, I don't know if you saw that I did an interview with Anne Hathaway when she was behaving kind of not so friendly towards me. And she reached out and apologized.
Literally.
And then was dead, the whole story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could have been
Yeah.
blown over, just do the right thing. Like Anne Hathaway, if she was being rude, she apologized. I mean, all good. What else is there to do?
Yeah.
You know, like you just had an off day.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. But anyways, thank you so much for being on Flawsome Talk and talking to all my viewers about this. This is really interesting inside information. And so let us know where we can find you and watch more of your interesting content.
Thank you. So you can find me on Instagram at Ulyses or on YouTube, Ulyses Osuna. Thank you.
I will I'll put a link in the description so you can all watch all of his videos. It's really fascinating. So thank you so much for being here. And yeah, this should be interesting. Maybe you have to come on again and talk a little bit more in a few months.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much to Ulyses for being on Flawsome Talk. I will leave a link in description so you can watch his channel. He's got a lot of good stuff there. Yes, and thank you all for coming back to my channel. I really appreciate it. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Please keep being engaged. Send me DMs. I got so many interesting DMs from you guys with tips of things that I had no idea about. So there's a lot of more good content coming very soon. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do and hit that notification button so you don't miss an episode of Flawsome Talk. And have a great Friday and be nice and polite to each other and take care. And I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.